Hey guys, welcome to the channel, welcome to another video. It's that time of the week again, it's Premier League predictions time. Another round of exciting and intriguing Premier League encounters are almost upon us for this upcoming weekend. And this, of course, is the video where I try and give my thoughts, my analysis, and my predictions on how I think each and every single game will turn out come the final whistle. As always though, would like to hear from you, so please do get your comments in down below. Tell me your thoughts on each and every single game coming up this weekend, but most of all, of course, give me your predictions, because after all, where would a Premier League predictions video be after all without predictions, as well as, of course, liking and subscribing if you're enjoying the content, or if you want to see more content. That is all there waiting for you. I always appreciate it from you guys. Can't thank you enough for the love and support on the channel. But without further ado, let's get on with the predictions, shall we? And we have got a cracking game to start off this weekend. It is the lunchtime fixture on Saturday, and it comes at us live from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in the capital. It is Tottenham against Manchester United, a Premier League classic. And I have gone with a 2-1 win to Manchester United. Now, my thoughts on this are based off of the fact that Tottenham's home form has been dreadful. They've going through a bit of an injury crisis as well. There is reports circulating that they are suggesting that Mohamed Kudus may not be available for this game as well. I think Man United they should be smelling blood here. I think the extra 90 minutes in the legs of those Tottenham players, having played midweek, I think with their poor home form of Tottenham, I know United's away form isn't exactly perfect. It's kind of mediocre, middle of the table stuff. But at the same time, I still think United probably should be smelling blood and should be winning this game. This has the opportunity to throw in a bit of a spanner in the works in terms of it's all set up for Man United to succeed but fail. This has all the makings of this should be Man United's game. Tottenham have got poor home form. Their players are injured, or their star players are injured. Their main creative players are injured. This should be Man United's game to win, which always does throw a bit of a... Like I say, it can throw a team off a little bit in terms of they may go into this game thinking they've already won before a ball is even kicked, and Spurs can spring a surprise. But I'm excited and looking forward to this game to kick off the Premier League weekend. I'm still sticking with United, but don't be surprised if Tottenham do end up getting something from this game. Of course, we shall see what happens on the day. Next up, another Premier League classic of sorts as Everton take on Fulham at their new stadium. I've gone with a 1-1 draw. Now, Everton at home, we know can be tricky. They can be awkward. Fulham away from home, you never really know what you're going to get with Fulham away from home. They're more obviously suited to playing at home than they are being on the road. I've gone with a 1-1 draw. This really could be any which way. If I had to stick my neck out on the line, I'd probably give the home team the edge, in all honesty, and give Everton the win. But I'm sticking with my original prediction for a draw. Two teams that are, again, battling it out, middle of the table kind of stuff, mediocrely. A win for either team would be beneficial, of course, and it doesn't really, like I said, I can't really separate them. It's always a close encounter. It's always an awkward encounter to predict with these two, but probably a low-scoring affair, which is why I have gone for the 1 goal apiece. But we shall see. We shall see what happens when these two teams meet. Next up, we're at the London Stadium for West Ham United taking on Burnley, and a West Ham side that will be riding high off of that big victory they pulled off last weekend against Newcastle. Nuno Espirito Santo's side will be looking to make it back-to-back wins for the Hammers in this game, and they've got a good opportunity to do so against a favourable opponent in Burnley, who have probably been better than what a lot of people would have predicted at the beginning of the season, but they obviously still need points on the board if they are to have any hope of Premier League survival. Now, of course, this is a favourable game for Burnley as well. We know how inconsistent and awkward West Ham can be, but this is a very, very good opportunity for West Ham to take advantage of that home crowd, being at home, riding high off of the momentum of last weekend's victory as well. I'm going to go with West Ham to win this one. So I'm sticking with my 2-1 prediction for this game. Moving on to Saturday's evening, the first of 2 evening fixtures for your Saturday evening viewing, and we've got action from the Stadium of Light, where Premier League new boys Sunderland will be taking on Arsenal. I've gone with a 1-0 victory to Arsenal. Now, I'm of course hoping and praying that Sunderland can get something from this game, not just to hopefully benefit my club of Liverpool, but to obviously try and throw a bit of a spanner in the works of an Arsenal side who seem immaculate right now. They seem perfect. They seem to be okay going forward, which is probably going to get better from open play. Their set pieces are again riding high on consistency, and their defence is looking impenetrable. I'm hoping that Sunderland can throw a spanner in the works of this Arsenal team. I'm hoping that that is going to be the case, because right now Arsenal look unstoppable. I'm hoping that is going to be different. Of course, Arsenal are going through certain injuries as well, and it looks like Victor Gyökeres will not be available for this game, so it is probably going to be a start up front for Mikel Merino in this game. Again, that could be a good thing for Sunderland. It could also mean that they're going to have to really, really tighten up from set pieces again. So it's one of those things where it could work in Sunderland's favour, but of course Arsenal do have many a weapon to use if they are to try and win this game. Do Sunderland have a hope in getting something? Of course they do. But they are going to have to really, really grind deep and battle for at least a point in this game. This game, of course, sees the return of Granit Xhaka to face his former club. What I would give for a 1-0 Sunderland win from a set piece in which the ball goes out to Granit Xhaka, who rockets one in from about 20-30 yards out. That would be perfect. But, like I say, Arsenal are looking unstoppable. Arsenal are looking impenetrable. It is probably going to be an Arsenal victory and another 3 points in the bag for Mikel Arteta, who will go into the international break still top of the table regardless of what happens. But hopefully the points difference will be, or the gap at the top of the table, should I say, will be closed. But I don't really have much hope of that happening, to be honest with you, with all due respect to Sunderland. Next up, the second evening game on Saturday is Chelsea against Wolverhampton Wanderers, and I have gone with a 3-1 win in favour of Chelsea. Look, if the game that these two teams produced in the Carabao Cup is anything to go by, we could be in for another cracker here in terms of goals galore. But I think it's probably going to be a little different this time around. For all of the money that Chelsea have spent, their home form is actually pretty poor this season. I think they've got the 4th worst home record, I believe, in the Premier League this season, which is crazy to think about when you consider where Chelsea currently are right now, what they have done, how they've spent their money, that kind of thing. So Wolves may have a little bit of a glimmer of hope here of taking something from this game. But in saying that, I still think Chelsea have the quality in the majority of areas to get over the line here and get the 3 points. I think they've got enough in the goal scoring department. I think they've got enough defensively to at least stop Wolves from being too scary or too much of a threat. I still think Wolves may get a goal, because Wolves can throw a bit of a spanner in the works for the majority of the bigger teams, as they have done over the years. And let's face it, the sacking of Vitor Pereira as well, and the bringing in of a new seemingly temporary interim manager for the time being, can always throw a bit of a spanner in the works here and there. Certain players can obviously be driven to try and impress a future manager. The Wolves crowd maybe getting on the team's side rather than the club behind the scenes themselves, that kind of thing. It can spur a team on to maybe try and upset the odds here. I'm going with 3-1. I still think Chelsea will get the job done, but again, there are certain glimmers of hope here for Wolves to maybe get something from this game that maybe a lot of people are not backing them to do so. Moving on to Sunday's games, and the first one we come to is from Villa Park, where Aston Villa will take on Bournemouth. Aston Villa, of course, will be looking to bounce back from their defeat to Liverpool last weekend, whilst Bournemouth, of course, riding high a little bit, but I think they may have taken Manchester City a little lightly in their hammering that they took at the hands of Pep Guardiola's side last Sunday. Could be an interesting game, this. Villa at home, always a difficult side to go to, always a difficult side to beat. But I think that maybe with the extra 90 minutes in the legs of some of those Villa players from their action in midweek, we're obviously taking on, I can't remember who I think, is it Tel Aviv? I want to say it's Tel Aviv in the Europa League. That could obviously play a factor in this, and that could obviously play into Bournemouth's hands. So I'm going to give this slight edge to Bournemouth in this game with the way that they've been playing, with the form of the likes of Antoine Semenyo especially. I think that Bournemouth may get the job done here, and that is why I'm going to go with the Cherries to get the 3 points. But that isn't out of the possibility for Aston Villa to get something. We know how dangerous and how awkward they can be, but it is going to be a very intriguing game nonetheless. Next up, Brentford taking on Newcastle at the G-Tech Stadium. I've gone with a 2-2. Now, I was debating this one because I genuinely wouldn't be surprised whichever way around this result goes. Newcastle are winless away from home this season, so I was kind of backing Brentford to get the job done. At home, we know that Brentford can be awkward. We know that they've beaten the likes of Liverpool this season. They give Chelsea a good run for their money as well. So we know that Brentford can be very awkward at home. We know that Newcastle have the players to get the job done on the day, the individuals, the team. But away from home, something just isn't clicking right now with Eddie Howe's side, which makes it awkward. I mean, last weekend they had a very favourable fixture against West Ham. Many people thought it would have been a win for Newcastle, but as it turned out, they got absolutely, to pardon the pun, hammered by West Ham United. So I don't know what Newcastle team's going to turn up. I don't know what Brentford team's going to turn up. I'm just going to stick with a 2-2 draw in all honesty. I'm going to call it down the middle. I'm going to go 2-2, but this game genuinely could finish anything. Next up, Crystal Palace taking on Brighton. I believe it's a sort of rivalry of sorts, I think. I want to say it is. I could be wrong. I could be thinking of another team. I want to say it's a kind of rivalry of sorts. Palace, Brighton, always an interesting fixture. Palace being at home as well, always going to be difficult to go to. Brighton haven't exactly had the best of seasons so far, but they picked up a big win last weekend, of course. I'm going with Palace. The home crowd, home advantage. I'm going with Palace. Mateta in form. I just think Palace will have enough in the attacking department to get the job done. It's not out of the realms of possibility for Brighton to get something. We know that they can create a lot of chances, and we know they've got an informed striker themselves in Danny Welbeck. So Mateta versus Welbeck is certainly going to be something to look out for in this fixture. But I just think Palace will have too much. I just think Palace will take their chances. They'll have too much for Brighton to handle, and that is why I am going with a 2-1 victory in favour of Crystal Palace. Next up, Nottingham Forest taking on Leeds United. What a game this could be. What a game this could be between two sides in desperate need of points. I've gone with a win for Nottingham Forest. Sean Dyche to win this one. And the simple fact is that home crowd, home advantage, and maybe Forest will take some positives from the draw that they picked up against Manchester United last weekend. Yes, again, Forest are in action midweek in the Europa League, and I know that obviously, again, the 90 minutes and the legs of some of those players could be beneficial to Leeds, and obviously help Leeds out in maybe getting something from this game. And it isn't out of realms of possibility, even when you don't consider that, because of how poorly Forest have been this season. But I don't know, there's just something about this game that makes me think that Forest will get the job done, Forest will win, and it's going to be an interesting game regardless. It's going to be a very intriguing game regardless, something that I'm very much looking forward to watching, because of how much there is at stake in this game. So I'm interested to watch this one, but I am backing Forest. I just think they may have just about enough to get past this Leeds United team. And finally, in what I believe to be the biggest game in this round of fixtures, the main event of this weekend's round of Premier League encounters, we've got action from the Etihad Stadium. It is Manchester City taking on Liverpool. A proper classic in recent years, a proper game of football in recent years. Pep Guardiola taking on Arne Slot. And it's safe to say that after the week that Liverpool have had, I'm going into this game a little bit more confident than what I would have been over a week ago. In saying that though, I still don't necessarily think Liverpool will get the job done in terms of a win, but you know what? A draw might not be a terrible result. It might not be a terrible result for Liverpool. A draw away from home against Man City, with the kind of form we've been in this season, probably isn't the worst result for us. I know that obviously we've got a lot to contend with. I know that obviously we've got a lot to handle in this game. We have to stop the service into a certain Erling Haaland, because he is just on fire right now. Kanate and Van Dijk are going to have to be imperious at the back to neutralise Haaland, whilst our midfield is going to have to run like clockwork in order to stop the midfield supply into the Norwegian goal machine. And at the other end, of course, we've got to take our chances. Mo Salah's got to be firing on all cylinders. We've got to have Hugo Ekitike firing on all cylinders. Cody Gakpo, I assume, is going to be starting, although after his midweek performance, I probably would go with Florian Wirtz in all honesty, but I can understand why Slot would revert back to Cody Gakpo. So all of our attackers are going to have to be firing on all cylinders. We're going to have to make the right decisions at the right time. Defence is going to have to be on point. We're going to have to win every first ball, every second ball. And we're going to have to be prepared for, of course, set pieces being a factor with City. And, of course, City maybe adapting their play a little bit to go more longer ball. I said earlier on this week that I believe that Real Madrid would be slightly easier to win than this game. And the reason why is because I saw that Real Madrid would probably try and play out from the back, try and get the ball down, play some football, whereas that I saw Man City being a bit more adaptive to maybe some of Liverpool's weaknesses. And I think that that may be the case with Pep Guardiola in this game. He may adapt a little bit more than what Xabi Alonso did to the potential weaknesses that Liverpool have displayed this season. And this is going to be a real test to see if Liverpool have truly turned a corner or whether it was just a minor blip in the season. Having said that, like I say, I think we're halfway to beating City if we can stop the supply into Erling Haaland. If we can stop that supply, if we can make him virtually anonymous in the game, then I think we're halfway to beating City. That I don't want it to sound too simplistic like that, and I don't want it to sound, so that we're so focused on just one player and then that's it, because we know that City have multiple threats across the entirety of the pitch, whether it be from Phil Foden, Marmoush has just returned. We obviously know what the likes of Ryan Shirky can do, Reinders can do, and of course they have threats even defensively as well. So we know that obviously going forward they have plenty of threats and plenty of ability and talent, but of course I just think that we're going to get something from this game. I really, really do think we're going to get something from this game. A win may be a little bit too far-fetched, but not out the realms of possibility. If I had to pick a winner, I might just have to go with City just on the Haaland factor alone, but I think it's more going to be a draw than anything. So I'm going 2-2 come the final whistle, but again, I wouldn't be surprised whichever way the result goes in that one. And there you have it. Those are just thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever I want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys are thinking and feeling. Let me know down in the comment section what you guys are predicting for all the games to come up this weekend and another round of exciting and intriguing Premier League encounters. Also, drop a like on the video if you haven't already. Subscribe if you are new. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. And of course, I encourage you all, like I said earlier, to get involved in the comment section. As always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video / Premier League predictions video. And I will see you and speak with you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll speak to you all again very, very soon.